Hello and welcome back to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo, um, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, share and inspire, and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You are currently watching the Sunday afternoon drawing group with me, Jason Leeser. And YouTube or Facebook or listening to the podcast, but you can always get the latest event schedule and notifications at the official Reinventing the Tattoo community, found at both app stores, the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, or directly at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. If this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and chats, and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. All Reinventing the Tattoo Network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars, seriously, everything can be enjoyed on demand and found in the library, as well as on the YouTube channel and the podcast channels. There are countless tattoo and art rabbit holes for you to dive into. It's perfect for the front room of your studio or to entertain your tattoo clients. In fact, Reinventing the Tattoo is beaming out 4 channels, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also enter to win a goodie bag with all different types of samples from raw pigment, Cheyenne cartridges, and many, many others by going to reinventing247.com. We do have some weekly staple shows that we would like to tell everyone to try to join into as often as they can. On Sundays at 1 p.m. At 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley. Thursdays at 10 a.m., we have a subscriber exclusive with Kyer, where we go through and we cover all different types of fundamentals in that session. All skill levels, including apprentices, are encouraged to attend. Thursdays at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Collecting podcast, where different tattoo collectors from all around the world can beam in and share some of their stories. Lately, we've been having the South Pacific Lockdown Escape drawing group, and that's been going on at 10 p.m. Eastern Time in Tattoo Weekly Show with Guy Aitchison, where we'll be going through and connecting with different artists that might be in the South Pacific that may or may not be locked down currently. And it's a way for them to keep up with their drawing groups. So if you know anyone in the South Pacific, so highly you check that out. November 12th through 14th, we will be at the Brussels Tattoo Convention with Nick Baxter and Ivana and Gabe, who are all going to be there, and they are all going to be doing some seminars. We'll also be having some live art jams and some subscriber exclusive meetups. as well as a few other general ones as well. February 5th through 6th of 2022, we have Reinventing the Tattoo live from the Red Tree Gallery. April 11th through 14th, New Hampshire Inspiring Tours with Sean Barber and Nick Baxter will be going on, where you can go through after that, in May 2022, we have Hell City Columbus, which is gearing up to be an absolutely incredible show. July 8th through 10th, 2022, we have the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo with a whole bunch of different reinventing track artists at an amazing venue, and it's super easy to get to from anywhere in the world. July 29th through 31st of 2022, we have the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio with Tony Urbanek, which if anyone out there knows Tony, you know that he is an absolute master machine builder and can put on one heck of a show. So now is the point in time where I'd like to go through and thank some of our sponsors. Let me pull that up real quick. So the first one I would like to thank is almost forgot. inkjetstencils.com. That's the next one. inkjetstencils.com, where you can print stencils straight from your phone or your tablet or your computer. You can save your time, you can save your hands, you can save your apprentices' hands. They are offering a whole bunch of webinars and free samples. So if you were interested in thinking about investing in one of those EcoTank printers, getting set up with some of the inkjet stencil like setups, go through, they'll send you some free samples if you want to try it out before you actually do it. I've used them myself. I've used or you know someone who needs one. On Instagram, please contact them at Interstate Ink LA. Up next, we have Raw Pigments, an ink company that's tapping into the source, which can be found at rawpigments.co. These are actually absolutely phenomenally amazing. I've started to incorporate several of their colors into my own personal lineup. Highly recommended. Next, we have World Tattoo Events, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're updating it daily. It's ridiculous. And it's keeping an active list of all of the conventions going on around the world. If you're looking for the next place to go through and travel tattoos or attend a show, that's where you would go to take a look and find out when the events are. Dermalize Pro, also known as Delize Pro in the US. Protect your art. If you're still using saran wrap, it's time to step your game up. Watch videos of tattooers and see what it's about. They've got, I believe, a YouTube channel. Go through and take a look. Would also like to give a very big special thank you to Tattoo Now. Technology for tattooers, the leading edge in SEO and professional development for tattooers of all levels, and they're now accepting new clients. If you're really trying to get yourself out there and you're trying to game is for Affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network, and the Apprenticeship Diaries. If you guys do not know about those, if you are an apprentice, if you are a new tattooer or a young tattooer, go through, take a look, check them out. You will not be disappointed. Cool. So that pretty much does it for the intro. Yay, I got through it without messing it up too much. Woohoo. Let's see. I'm going to let's do this and cool. So we got Faith with us today. Oh, let me go through and switch my video. There we go. Much better. Hey Faith, how's it going?
Hey, good. Just painting.
Nice.
Yeah, I started this a couple weeks ago on your class, I think. But I haven't messed with it. I just felt like painting. What's going on with you?
Not much. Working on a little bit of a new project lately. Just got done with the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention last weekend, and that was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is ever interested in working at a much larger show than what they might be used to,
But it's probably a lot of fun though, right? When it's huge.
oh, it's an absolute blast.
Yeah. Would you like, is it like in a convention center? I mean, I assume, but
Yes.
sometimes they like, I don't know,
Yeah,
they
it's
take down.
so the Philadelphia Convention Center is I think a whole city block wide and 3 city blocks long. It's absolutely quite a bit of it. So
Pretty cool. I know.
it's huge. Everyone, I mean, everyone that works it, it's a workout though, because like you have to walk up and down so many different aisles.
Sure.
It's pretty crazy.
What do you go for? Like, what is it to see? It's just.
Sorry, I forgot to hit record.
Do you have like a favorite part of conventions that you go to?
So usually at the Philly show, I end up getting stuck in the booth most of the time, just because I'm from the suburbs of Philly, so I have a lot of clients in the area, and with best tattoo of the day, best of show, stuff like that. I really try to get to go and see, just because I think that it's just always fascinating to me.
Yeah, when I went, I was like a month into my first apprenticeship, so I was like just wide-eyed. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's intense, absolutely intense. So, I mean, I always recommend it for people to try out, but you never really know. But then again, if you've been to the Baltimore show, if you've been to the Baltimore Tattoo Convention, then it's very, very similar to Baltimore. And why is this saying this? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
So good.
I don't know if this is
What's going on?
I don't know. I think we're still live streaming. Yeah, we're still live streaming. Good. Yay. But yeah, Villain Arts has been pretty awesome. It's they put on quite a show. They do a lot of very good promotion. They have it set up.
I could just pick one and kind of go in there and try and find enough clients that I could go, kind of a thing.
Exactly. You know, you can see what people are wanting to get done. A lot of it is, you know, smaller stuff, which, you know, usually knock that out pretty quick. You know, but you also have all of the artists that attend those shows. They're all vying for that same client. So you see people on there, and I swear it's like their sole job is to just go through and comment on every single post. Right. And
Right.
it's like, that's not why it was there. Down to like a third of the artists that you bring with you to that show, a third go to a different show, a third go to a different show. You spread yourself out a little bit more and everyone's happy.
That's true.
You know, why try to focus on just one big place when I don't see any of those artists entering anything in any of the competitions. I don't see them entering or you know, really trying to do very distinctive kind of high profile stuff that's really pushing the bounds, quick little money. And it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of other artists here that might be traveling that, you know, maybe that's what we want to make too. So, I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. All in all, I think Villain Art shows are extremely well ran, extremely well done. They've really stepped their game up in the past 10 years.
Miami.
Portland, Milwaukee, Baltimore. Tampa is October 22nd through the 24th.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I forget how many shows they're doing for 2020 or 2021. They've got New Orleans, Asheville, Tampa, Baltimore, Milwaukee, Portland, and but
Put them out well, then that's awesome.
yeah, what I'm really looking forward to in 2022, believe it or not, is I've been talking to a few people about the Explorer Tattoo Conference that I'm going to be attending at the next one. I kind of made that decision myself, regardless of like what goes on and all that stuff. It's like, no, this is happening, right? I've already made that commitment to myself, so now I just have to see it through. But I'm going to hit the Explorer Tattoo Conference up next year in 2020. They had Justin Hartman there, who's like, I love his work. In fact, I'll pull up some of his work just to show you guys. If you don't know who Justin Hartman is, then you're really missing out. But that's also why I'm pulling them up. Does a lot of he's got a very distinctive Art Nouveau style.
That's
a lot
cool.
of large scale work. You know, he does everything from like neo-traditional Japanese and illustrative Japanese stuff all the way out to you know, very, very kind of almost neo-trad in style. But most of his work is very, very large scale. Super cool guy. I actually remember, I think this is the one that he started out in London a few years back. And I remember watching him work on it out in London, and it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, the composition is just unbelievable with his positioning, complementing the body. Everything is just on point. He also does a lot of painting, a lot of illustration. So, I mean, this guy never takes a break, as you can tell.
Yes, that's awesome.
At first, I thought this was actually a drawing. I didn't think it was a tattoo.
I like how his like the transitions between values, they're not like perfectly, they're like a tiny bit geometric. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. And I think part of that comes down to the distance at which he wants someone to view it, right? You don't have to have everything completely and perfectly, you don't have to have a completely perfectly smooth rendering or smooth transition if you want people to view it from a little bit more of a distance, right? Because 9 times out of 10, when people are looking at this tattoo, they're not right up on this thigh area looking at, oh, okay, let me take a look at the wrinkles in the fingers, right? No, they're going to be viewing it from this far away. And when you view things from that kind of a further distance, your eye will optically blend and it will optically smooth those transitions out. It's pretty fascinating just to see the way that your eye can manipulate an image in that way.
I like a slightly angled, just in general. I always kind of round off my lines and my shapes and stuff like that. That guy's really good. I have to follow him. What's his Instagram?
Justin Hartman Art. Yeah, Justin Hartman is he's been a very, very prolific, very talented tattoo artist for quite some time. And I mean, just looking at the quality of work that he does, I mean, his color is completely saturated. His contrast levels are there. He's got everything that you need in a very easily readable piece. Oh, look, sometimes he does do smaller stuff.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, there too, the geometric levels.
Yeah, he keeps a lot of hard edges in his work, which I really truly appreciate, because once again, your eyes along with Ross Sabbath.
What is it?
It's a lecture and seminar series that's hosted over a few days with a lot of these very well-known tattoo artists that come down and talk about their process. Sometimes they focus on specific things. Maybe it's large-scale tattoo composition and layout. Maybe it's advanced color theory. Maybe it's correct use of line, depth and perspective using nothing but line. There's so many different topics that end up getting covered, based on who the speakers are and what's going on. But it's like a 3-day intensive seminar and workshop where they also do portfolio critiques. They do all different types of, like Instagram critiques, right? Going through and helping you curate and really work on how are you presenting yourself to other artists, right? To help you get the most bang for your buck so that you can reach the kind of level that they are at.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of why I really want to go. I
Yeah,
want to
is
take a
that
look at their process and see what unique individual thoughts they may have,
is that the price of a ticket, or do you have to, like, can anybody go, I guess is what I'm asking?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think they do have it reserved for professional tattoo artists only.
That's what I figured. I just didn't know if you had to be. Is it expensive?
I think it's usually only a couple $100. I don't think
Cool.
it's usually that expensive.
Sounds cool.
On, that to me is invaluable. You can't beat that. I mean, just the experience to get to sit and talk with them alone, it a lot of times is well worth everything.
Yeah, sometimes just getting in a room with somebody is the hardest part.
Right?
Yeah.
Or getting to just talk to someone, or meeting Guy, for example. That was like, but meeting some of the other people I've met, like Nico Hurtado, right?
Mhm.
Having a sit down lunch with Nico was like a mind bending experience. And I did that before I could even really truly appreciate the experience that it was. but running into these people at different shows, it's pretty cool. But then you start to realize that, hey, they're people just like everyone else.
Indeed, they are.
I mean, we all go through the same things. We all have similar struggles, and we all have similar challenges and similar personality traits. We all do the same thing for careers, so we're not really that different.
They're doing that. Reinventing is doing the BYO, the thing in October 3rd.
Right?
And that's kind of like a workshop too. Are there like hundreds of those all over the world, like big ones, or is it more like, are there like a centralized couple that, am I making sense?
So the way that seminars used to be held over the past like 10, it just didn't make sense to me. It was always interesting as far as that's concerned, but that's the way it used to be done. Nowadays, it's you have these conferences set up almost like a professional business conference, where you have a number of different high profile people that are all providing seminars that they're going to be covering during that seminar, and people have to go through and sacrifice a whole convention day just to take a seminar from someone like Bob Tyrrell. I don't know of too many other countries around the world that are doing the same thing, especially because a lot of people are still in lockdown. But there does seem to be certain standardized seminar groups, if that makes any sense. For example, the Explorer Tattoo Conference has been around for a couple of years, and they've become a staple in the industry for some of the artists that they bring in and the experience that you have. Things like the Paradise Gathering, where you can go through and talk to some of these artists and go through and take a few days worth of seminars in a row, and meet these artists and get to know and get some of the knowledge that they have. I think there was another price by the head, whoever whoever wants to take it, that's totally fine. You go through, you pay whatever money, the convention organizer gets a portion of that, and you go in and you get the seminar, right? And you take the seminar. A lot of people ever since COVID have gone through and started kind of going through and taking everything online. Maybe they're doing like on-demand seminars or coming out with whole courses, that are all and they've got the right credentials to take it. So that is one thing that you may have to look out for, but I highly recommend taking every kind of seminar and gaining every bit of knowledge you can. I joke around with Ricardo, Kira, and Bruno a lot that I actually have a hard drive filled with seminar content and digital content and books and things like that, from a lot of the things that I've attended or purchased over the years, different DVDs I've purchased, that I've found a way to kind of keep a digital copy of. It's very, very informative, very interesting. Just because I always like to look back at that. Really, I think there was one other guy that did like a seminar for hands. His whole process on how he lays out top of the hand tattoos. It's and how he goes about, he'll lay down plastic wrap over top of it, circle all the knuckle joints, line up where certain edges are, where certain indents are, where the wrist tapers out, and then he'll lay that down and then throw a piece of tracing paper over top of that, mark all that down on tracing paper, throw another piece of tracing paper over top of that, and then start to sketch. So little things like that can really make a world of difference, right? Especially to someone that's, maybe they're just but that website has since gone down. Now, I invested several $100s in a lot of these very high quality multi-part courses, right? Which fortunately they were a very, upfront and very straightforward company. And they said, listen, we can't continue on with this project. We will send you downloadable links to everything. The downside is not every place does that.
Right.
I like to make sure that I have a copy of it for posterity's sake. If I'm putting out $500 or $600 for a 13-part full color set from someone that I really admire, I want to hold on to that. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But it's, if I didn't have that and that website went down, there's tons of money out.
But I've watched a bunch of DVDs, like Nico Hurtado and Day of the Dead and Joshua Carlton.
Yep.
And
I've seen those.
Paul Acker, I think I had one. And just in general on YouTube, just watching people. But the seminars sound awesome.
Yeah, there were some that came out through Kingpin Tattoo Supply many, many years ago. And I don't know if they're still for sale or not. I can check on that, but I know Russ Abbott. Let's see. Called Ironclad Tattoos Built to Last. And it was absolutely a game changer for me.
Is it still available anywhere?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
On Guy's website.
I don't know if it's still for sale, but I mean, you might be able to find a copy of it somewhere. Sketchbooks. No. Let's see. Maybe it's under. Yeah, I don't think Kingpin still has it for sale. I'm sure if you go through different. It was very, very informative. That and there was another one, neo-traditional tattooing with Link Bossman, who I believe is from Australia. And that one was also really, really, really informative and really helped, just like process and like color in tattooing in more of a neo-traditional way.
What was the guy's name?
Link Bossman or Bozeman.
Well, I'll look for that one on the guy one. Use all the help I could get.
Yeah, there's tons and tons of resources out there.
There's honestly, like, you don't know which one to invest your time into.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent many years looking for every bit of information on everything I can tattooing. I used to work for a university, and I would actually troll the university library. Then you'll reach a certain level and then plateau. And some people get to that plateau and they're happy, and that's cool. But for me, I haven't hit a plateau yet. There's always more to learn in my mind, and there's always a different approach, and there's always something new that I haven't ever figured out before. So I want to learn that. I want to acquire that knowledge so that I can continue on this uphill slope myself on quite a while back. And it's a pretty steep slope. It's not easy. There's a lot to absorb, but it does pay off in the end, in my opinion.
Yeah, hard work definitely pays off. It's hard work.
Yep. Well, it's either, you suffer through the learning and learn it the right way, or so this is a new business card design that I'm currently working on.
Cool.
Yeah, I decided after 3 years of using the same business card, it was time to upgrade, time to get something new out there.
I need to make it go on.
I've always had an affinity for snakes, so
You finished the goldfish?
I mean, snakes, goldfish, flower, matter. It's just what I always find myself defaulting to. Not just because I've drawn so many snakes, I can do it with, both eyes closed and an arm tied behind my back, but I've also invested the time into it. I spent nothing but, I think, 2 or 3 years just trying to figure out how to draw snakes. And I've drawn thousands of them. So, I mean, yeah, it's, that's part of the reason why it's my go-to, right? But if I hadn't drawn them so many times and sat down to figure out how can I draw this in my way, how can I draw this in a very different kind of unique way, then if I hadn't put in the hours to figure it out, I wouldn't default to them. But these are subject matter that I know for a fact I can draw without a hesitation. And there are things I enjoy drawing too. That's why I drew so many of them.
There's definitely things that are in our wheelhouses. So whatever, that's how I usually refer to it.
Yep.
Like anything floral that kind of walks in the door. But there's so many flowers, but I never got gothic stuff. Like, I don't know if it's considered gothic, but just snakes and daggers and like that whole, like I always want to do it, but I just never find myself drawing that kind of stuff. So I guess there's stuff that I like and I wish I could be good at, but I just don't have the drive to do it all the time, like you said.
Yep. It's
Like,
what we're passionate about. So as one of my mentors once told me, they said, if you draw it, they will come. And he was not wrong. If you want to do something, if you have a very particular type of thing that you really want to do, draw it. Draw a lot of it and have it up for grabs in the studio. Mine from Malaysia over quarantine reach out to me, and I commented on something. I said, dude, you do a lot of like, smaller kind of like quick banger stuff. I said, where are your bodysuits at? Where are your back pieces? Where are your, full sleeves at? And he's like, dude, I don't know. Like, I would love to do more large scale work, but I have no idea how to get people in to do that. And I said, well, it's pretty easy to make that kind of a transition. I said, draw large stuff and hang it up in the studio, right? If you draw a back piece or a bodysuit and you have it taped up at your station in your studio, someone somewhere along the lines will come in and inquire about it. It will happen. The question is, are you going to sit down and take the time to draw it out, and say, yes, this is something I really, really, really want to do. Do you want to get this done? It's all a matter of advertising. If you advertise that you want to do certain things, draw it. Draw it and draw 1,000 different versions of it. And then that way, when someone comes in and says that they want one specific thing, you're already set and so what I've found is it's all about how much work are you willing to put in the front end before anyone even comes through the door to get it done.
it's definitely worth it if it's the thing that you're passionate about. Like, I'd much rather be doing large scale like flowers and more like, I don't know, painterly pieces. So just I put on Instagram, I put the kind of stuff that I want to do out there. And if somebody comes in for something else, I maybe I make them happy, but I don't make that big of a deal out of it because it's not the stuff I want to do.
Well, I mean, that's the blessing and the curse of this career, right? Is that most of the time we end up doing things that we don't necessarily want to do, but we do them because we have bills to pay. Um, it's like, do I want to sit down and do, a name on someone's neck, or, I don't know, a small bouquet of flowers on someone's like calf? Probably not. But you know
Yeah.
what? I know that if I do that and they're happy with it and I really do a good job of it, they may turn around later on, take that bouquet of flowers and turn it into something much larger. Right. And then I can have fun with it.
Yeah, and I always try and steer and like kind of wiggle people in the direction that I want to go. Pretty, not everyone, I think, realizes they can kind of just sometimes tell the client what they want. Guys that are out there, so I just kind of
Different approach to it, where I'll sit back and I'll listen to everything that they're saying, and then I'll try to understand what it is that they're really trying to say, and then from there, it's like, oh, okay, so instead of this, bouquet of flowers, what you're really looking for is a memorial,
right.
maybe here's some alternate ideas, that might suit what you're really trying to get across a little bit better. Right.
That's kind of what I meant. Like, just basically, was one of the shops I was in. Come in, they'd say what they want. They just send them right out the door. Maybe steer it in a direction that you can do for them, or something that's possible. 10 minutes, and then we'll decide to do a different design, like on a part of the body. So it's all just about keeping them talking in a lot of ways until you figure something out.
Communication is everything. It really, really, really is. Because if we don't effectively communicate with our clients, then we might be missing a very large portion of something. And
Yeah.
there's perfect example. I had someone come in not too long ago that, I had them come in for a consultation, and they wanted this like Medusa head on the top of their hand, and they already had some tattoos on their arm. And I was like, oh, all right, cool, whatever. And we started talking, and they had mentioned that they wanted to eventually go full sleeve. And I said, okay, well, let's take a look, and maybe let's fill your forearm first, because you already have some tattoos on your lower arm. I've got some ideas for really cool stuff that could go along with that, if you like the Greek mythology kind of theme. So we sat down and we talked about it. And then, I got the inevitable message saying, hey, I kind of thought about it, and I was thinking about taking things in a little bit of a different direction. And this is like the image that I want to go with 100% for certain on my hand. All right, cool. Not a problem. Sat down, drew it up, tattooed it on them, turned out pretty nice. So cool, great, awesome. Another satisfied customer out the door. Well, they've recently hit saying that they are now inquiring about covering it up, and if I could cover it up. And it's like, well, what happened? You told me definitively that this is exactly what you wanted, and you wanted it done exactly like this, in this specific way, with this kind of stuff. And that's what I did. And it looked damn good when you left. Like, what changed? What's happened? And it turns out that, I think a third party, someone else had, maybe been influencing that decision to get what they had gotten done on their hand. And so apparently that third party is no longer in the picture. So it's now point of contention where, they might not be that thrilled with it anymore. Cool, come on in. Yeah, we'll cover it up. And I said, send me some ideas of what you're thinking to cover it up. I'll let you know what'll work, what won't work, things of that nature. And
I had a client and her best friend didn't like it after she left with it, but she loved it when she left, and she came back and I had to like change the whole background. Just
yeah,
sometimes, I don't know. That only happened to me once though. But yeah, people change their minds. Sometimes they get stuff and then they leave and they come back and they don't like it anymore. But I think that's kind of what you were saying, right? Or the third
yep,
party was kind
yep.
of
That third party influence where
wants.
it's like, hey, that's cool, but like you were happy with it when you left. So it's not like anything healed poorly. It's not like,
Exactly.
it's not like I didn't do a good job. It's the fact that you changed your mind and you no longer like this, even though you were adamant about it at first.
Yeah, it's a hard position. Yeah.
No, I'll cover it. I have no issues with that. That's fine. It's going to cost X amount of money and we'll do it.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I just meant it's a tricky conversation to have with a client.
Well, I mean, I think it comes down to the point of when people realize that maybe their decision wasn't the best. It's like you might know that at first, but sometimes there's no getting that across to people. Sometimes people have to learn through experience. And, unfortunately, when making the decision to get a permanent change to your appearance,
There's,
it maybe it's something that they should take a little bit more time to think about, but you can't fault them for that. I mean, I've had to learn that way several times, so I can't really say that I've never done that because I've done that plenty. Where I haven't listened to advice of professionals and it ended up not being a very wise decision. But hey, it is what it is. And these are the things and the experiences that we learn the most from. So
I have, I don't know if it's just, you can tell me what you think, but I have a client that likes to pick like the worst. The elbow, stuff like that. But he wants to pay less for spots that are harder for me versus, you know what I mean? Do you think it should be the
I
other
mean, there's an easy way to deal with that.
way?
When you go to quote them, give an initial quote that's quite a bit more. That way they'll try to talk you down and you'll land at the number that you originally wanted to.
That's what I've been doing, but they always end up wanting to pay less because it's like if it's a huge cover up that's a pain in the ass, or if it's in a tough spot, or if it takes me like 4 hours just because of the spot they picked, people don't want to pay for it. They're just like, do your job. And like I've had that happen. It's just like,
Right. If you're pricing hourly, then it's cool. Yeah, sit down. We'll do it. Not a problem. This is my standard hourly rate, and it's going to take as long as it takes for it to be a good job. I can't tell you how much that may take, but if you're really that concerned about price, then maybe you should. I'm sure that there's probably a ton of kitchen magicians in your area, right? I know there are in mine. you know,
They're
and
everywhere.
they'll give you a deal. You'll get a free side of, I mean, it's free, right? You can't beat it. Yeah, it's hepatitis. It's going to live with you forever and it's going to be a debilitating long-term disease, but hey, it's free, right? And they'll do the tattoo for $20. So you may get a staph infection and lose your arm. Who cares? Right? If they're that concerned about price, well, maybe they're not the person for you.
Well, yeah, but I lost a little bit of business.
Well, sometimes it's better to lose the business of someone that's not going to be a good client than it is to keep a client on that is just going to be toxic in the end.
I stopped talking to them. They said they were trying to price for me on everything, so it was just not a good conversation to begin with. But then I finally agreed on a price. I was going to do a blackout, white work over blackout. I was trying to explain to him that it was more expensive than a regular cover up because he has to go in like 5 times. That there's no guarantee and all that. So I agreed on a price. And then the day before, he told me he wanted me to fix all this other stuff before he did the quoted tattoo, like shading on his neck, shading on his elbow. And I was like, I'm not doing all that. He's like, come on, it's just a little shading. Who cares? And then, like, for some reason, that offended me to call my job just shading.
Yeah, for people like that
I felt
that
insulted.
don't understand the amount of time and commitment that we put into these things,
That's what I mean. It was like
then it comes down to obviously you know more about tattooing than I do. Please, by all means, tell me how to do my job.
So it's not. I'm not a bad person for turning him away.
Nope. I would have done the same thing.
I'm saying it's just
Either that or I would have turned around and said, hey, listen, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cancel all of our appointments. And you know what? Maybe I can give you some recommendations of people to go to from now on. But I don't think this is going to end up working out.
I felt bad for him because he kept telling me that all his other 2 artists. But
well, sometimes people don't have a national perspective. There's nothing you can do to convince them. Yeah. Sometimes you can't get through to people. As sad as that is to say, sometimes it's not possible.
No, I get it. Yeah, I tried.
You can do everything you can in the world, but there are some people out there that will just not get the message because it's not what they want to hear.
You have to pick your battles with everything, but I felt like
It's not an easy job because not only are you trying to give people exactly what they want in the best way that you can, right? But you also have to deal with the customer service portion of it. And then you have to deal with the managerial portion of it where it's like, okay, well, what's my cost to time ratio? Is this profitable for me? Is this something for me to do? It ends up coming down. There's a lot of different aspects to tattooing that a lot of people don't even begin to factor in. They're like, well, it just seems like fun. It's like, well, guess what? You shouldn't be a tattooer.
It's definitely rewarding.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
even just like the actual, not just in general, like art's hard, yeah, but actually sitting there and being hyper focused on this little 2-inch area of skin and trying to for like 8 hours a day. I think people just don't get how intense it is. You
Yeah,
can't use
like
your can't do
I got
anything.
to I got to work on my friend Devin's leg yesterday. Um we did 3 like heart pocket watches, like heart-shaped pocket watches on her lower leg with some roses as filler. And I'm like, okay, well, outline's done, and it's pretty substantial in size. In fact, let me see if I can airdrop it. I'll kind of show you. There it is. Here, airdrop. See if it'll work. If I can get my airdrop to work today. There we go. Cool.
For
Cool.
some
So
reason,
this is what I got to work on my friend Devin yesterday. Let's see, where is QuickTime? There it is. So, and we just went through and we did it all in one shot so far. This is like our base layer. Too much else. I love doing that. But
it's like time warp.
go ahead.
I said it's like a time warp where you sit down for the tattoo and then suddenly it's 4 hours later.
Yeah, you look up at the clock and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't seem right. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
4 to 6 hours later, you finally come out of that wormhole and it's like, wow, where did
I put a clock in my room. Good idea for sure. I was losing track of all my appointments. They were all just blurring into one another.
Yeah, I've actually I've started to get a lot better about that. And I know it's one thing that I struggled with for the first few years I was tattooing was time management and time estimation. Because you don't want to say, okay, I can get you in on this day at this time. It's only going to take me, say, an hour and a half to do this tattoo. And then it ends up taking you, 3 hours to do it. Right. That's something that I really struggled with for the first few years I was tattooing because, I was still getting used to everything. I was still learning some stuff. I still had a very large learning curve that I was taking on. So I couldn't really estimate accurately how long a specific tattoo, maybe I'll do a photorealism black and gray flag, right? Like,
I try. I have a lot of trouble with just kind of like time getting away from me. Not so much. I do have to not rush sometimes, but sometimes I can't just spend. Like that's the part that I'm working on is not getting lost in an area when
right.
I don't have to.
So this was
Being
I did
aware.
this tattoo start to finish in about 2.5 hours.
Mhm. It's cool.
Which, as it healed up, it healed actually, I think that is healed. I think,
Crazy.
yeah, it is. So that's healed, but 2.5 hours, right? I had 4 hours estimated for it, you know?
Right.
Cool, great. I think a lot of it ends up coming down to knowing your equipment and knowing yourself, knowing what you're capable of doing in what period of time. I think a lot of that, comes with just time in the chair and time behind the machine and,
Once I
getting used to certain things.
once I started sometimes technique. Like I used to always put in my darks and then I would do my mids afterwards. And I started doing my middles and then just scraping in my darks a little bit, kind of grazing it. And that shaved like an hour or two off like every tattoo I was doing. Just like a simple, just an approach can make a huge difference.
Right. But that comes with time and experience, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Time and experience are the ultimate factors when it comes down to productivity and efficiency. That's how we learn to become efficient tattooers. And one of the things that I won't ever forget that taught me the most was I used to work for a studio that used to do Friday the 13th tattoos. And we had a set price, a set design sheet. People would start lining up at the door at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we wouldn't leave there any given Friday the 13th until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We were in there at 8:30, 9 o'clock a.m. and didn't leave until 2 or 3 a.m. the next morning. It was an exhausting day, but you learned how to become a very efficient tattooer.
I mean, can I show you the dragon I did? I finally finished it. I was drawing it in a couple of these classes.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I don't know if I can screen share, but you see it?
Oh, cool.
And then we added red.
Cool.
You can see it with the camera. Turned out a lot better than I thought. I was channeling forms, just trying to think about the forms of the dragon. And I would take the stippling and I was just drawing contour lines with the stippling, like pretending I was mapping out the forms almost. And I just kind of went with it, but it came out good, I think. Kind of like on the tail. I don't know if you can see that. Like I was just like doing that kind of stuff. But that's what I've been doing now is just thinking about forms and trying to keep it's more rewarding almost to do it that way, but it can hurt your brain a little bit.
Yeah. So I generally will try to go through and do all of my problem solving in advance.
As far as like forms,
like light, forms, shadow, shapes, volume. I try to get all of that stuff mapped out and figured out before I ever touch the skin. And what that allows me to do is go through and say, okay, if my light source is coming from here, or I started shading this part in this way, oh, but wait, that's not really agreeing with the way that I started shading in other things, right? So now let me go back through and revisit this area and kind of tweak this out so that I know that everything's going to be agreeable and I'm going to have a consistent light source throughout. Whereas if you're working with a tattoo and you've already started tattooing certain shadows and forms, you have to keep track of that, because otherwise you're going to end up with two conflicting shadow areas and you're not going to have a very good consistent light source, right? And it's the light source that creates the form and the volume of those specific shapes. So that's where I try to do all of my problem solving ahead of time, but that's also my process of doing a tattoo, is figuring out, okay, this is how I want this to look, which means I need to have my light source coming from this angle, which means that this needs to be bigger than that, or this needs to be smaller than that because of proportion, so I can go through and I'll put it down for a day or two and I'll come back to it and I'll look at it again and I'll say, okay, this needs to be tweaked, that needs to be tweaked, this needs to be better, this isn't consistent with this, so I do a lot of work on the back end that most people never even know about, because I find that way everything ends up being more agreeable. And when you start working in that method, it becomes second nature, right? And after a while, you can just look at a piece and say, okay, I know if my light is coming from this angle, and if I want to have this part in shadow, then everything else needs to fall in line with that. So, I mean, you can do that on the fly, but
I definitely do a lot of work in beforehand. I don't know. It's just I've been concentrating more on how forms work, but I wasn't doing any of that before. Not necessarily. I was just cross-referencing and kind of just looking in general where shadows fall, but I wasn't really I wasn't as focused on forms in general, or just the way that forms and values and like Ricardo's 3-value method and that everywhere now. I don't see the triangles. I just think it's cool that my art is evolving by coming to these classes.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, this is the closest thing.
If your art isn't evolving through these classes, then there may be something that you may want to reevaluate. You know what I mean? But I'm very happy to hear that it is. I know that joining these groups and even just having discussions with people like Bruno, who just joined us, it's been enlightening to say the least. What's up, Bruno?
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going, Jason?
It's going pretty well, man. What you working on?
How's it going, Faye?
Hey, what's up, Bruno?
Chilling here with my client, Angel. What's up?
What's up, Angel?
Working on so yeah, we just kind of started the outline. I just started coloring it right now. Let me see, turn your arm a little bit.
Oh,
so
wow,
it's kind of like wrapping around all the way, and we're gonna do a little like blue background around it, kind of like watercolor splash style type thing.
Right. Very nice. Super clean
fun
lines,
little
man.
piece. Thanks, man. Yeah, let me put this back on here. Thanks, bro.
Now, what are you using mag Oh,
saying,
it's all
brother?
good. I was gonna say, what are you using mag-wise?
I'm using right now a Sublime 15 Magnum from
Quadrant?
Quadron, and I'm also gonna be using depending on the area and what I'm doing, I'm gonna use the like a Magnum medium taper from
Okay, very nice. Yep,
yeah
yep.
to do the majority of like the solid color, and I used a hella tight 4 for the outline from Black Claw as well.
Man, I love those hella tights.
Yeah, man, those hella tights are crazy. And yeah, it was like the right time for them. I like to use the hella fine 7 a lot. With the EXO
Very nice.
4.0 and using it at 7.5 volts right now for the 15 mag, the long taper.
Getting all that nice torque in there.
Yeah. What you working on, man?
I'm just working on a new business card design.
Is that what that is? Cool, man. I saw a
Dude.
little bit.
Yeah, I figured it was it's kind of time for a change. So, I thought I'd try to step things up a little bit. Nope.
Turn it into a print or something.
Yeah, it's usually what I end up doing is I'll go through and I'll start working on something for a specific purpose, to serve a specific purpose. And if it's not working out right, or if things just aren't coming together, I'll just go through and turn it into a painting. Why not, right? Why waste a really nice piece of art when when you could easily have this?
Definitely. I saw you had a bunch of really cool prints at the table.
Yeah, dude, that was so it was my first time ever actually like really, really trying to sell prints.
Yeah.
I made a few in the past, but I know they weren't exactly like the most popular, which is cool. That's fine. But I just had them out there more or less as examples of work that I wanted to do.
Right.
And I ended up selling. It was crazy. I didn't think I'd get that kind of a response, especially because they weren't very big. They were all small 8x10s.
Right. Nice, dude. Yeah, that Hanya one is fucking badass.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I only sold like 2 or 3 of those. which is crazy because I thought I'd sell more of those than the small guys.
Right, right.
But what I ended up doing was I ended up putting things so people thought that they would get a deal. So I would go through and say, okay, well, since I only have 5 out of the 6 left of these, and these are $20 a piece, I can sell you all 5 of these for $80 and I'll knock $20 off, or for, $120, I'll throw in one of these big guys with you. So that way, you're still getting a deal. I'm still getting a deal and selling some awesome artwork to some really cool people. There you go.
Sounds like a deal.
Yeah, I had more people coming up to me at the show asking me who did my prints than, just about. Like paper's an issue. So, I try to keep it on small quantity, high quality, and just kind of let the prints speak for themselves, which tends to work pretty well. But it's, I had more people coming up to me asking who did them and where I got them done. And, if I was doing prints for other people as well. And it's like, well, not really. I mean, because I'm not trying to do prints for everyone, but I mean, hey, if I can do that as like a little side hustle, I might as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, you might have something going on.
I'm just trying to match what's on the screen. I'm not really trying to like enhance in any way, but that question kind of caught me off guard because it's not something I ever really even thought of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know that this is the way it comes out. Like, I'm just happy that my printer is working. I'm not really super concerned with like, getting the colors super, super vibrant. That's the printer's job. I'm more concerned about layout. I'm more concerned about, is this coming out in a quality way? Would I want to buy this as a print? It's like, well, then I've got more work to do. Then you got guys like Ricardo out there who's like killing it with his art game. And like,
he's taking it. Everybody, man, everybody involved, I think, has definitely improved significantly.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
oh, hi, Ricardo.
Mr.
Hello.
Ricardinho.
Ricardinho.
¿Qué pasó?
What's up, buddy?
How you guys been today?
Good, man, but better now.
Well, it's always a better time whenever Ricardo joins.
Hey, all right, man. Thanks for the kind words.
It's a party. Let me break out my sombrero.
What's the topic of conversation? What were we discussing?
Many topics, conventions and clients and dealing with problem clients.
You still tattooing, Ricardo?
Just finished up that portrait.
Wow, that was quick, man.
Yeah, we went pretty simple with the tonal value.
Gotcha.
Yeah, went pretty simple with the tonal value. So all I did was like really focus on the shapes and stuff. And once I get a healed photo, I'll post it up because it's still kind of still a little red.
You know what I hear is an easy way to get all that redness out pretty quickly?
Which shape?
Bleach.
Bleach?
Just pour some bleach on them and care about the redness.
I don't think they'll care
I'm
about too
joking.
much.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Definitely not. Definitely don't want to do that. I think
That is a bad idea. That was a joke. That was not meant to be serious for anyone that might be watching out there on YouTube.
bad joke.
Witch hazel actually does something pretty similar to rubbing alcohol. It's a sanitizer, a sanitizing agent. So it will kill a lot of bacteria. Won't necessarily kill any kind of viruses or viral spores or anything. It's definitely not antimicrobial, but it does have antibacterial properties to it. And I find that, like, especially if you've been working on a tattoo for a while and you can kind of feel the heat radiating off of it, it generally speaking really nice when you put that on after working on a tattoo for quite a few hours. It just like cools all the skin down.
Yeah, that and the raw black and gray wash. That stuff is awesome.
Incredible.
But you know,
Especially for things like Japanese wave bars and stuff like that. The ISO bars, a lot of Japanese water and stuff. Dude,
yeah.
It is flawless every time.
Phenomenal.
You can pack a solid field of of like one of those whitewash tones.
Yeah.
You can pack a solid field of that. And it is beautiful when it heals.
Radical. I'll have to give it a go. I haven't used the gray wash yet, or the gray wash set yet. Whitewash. I've been using nothing but the gray wash set. And I've been seeing some tattoos come back for it. And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they really know what's going on as far as gray wash, whitewash, and dude. So I asked myself that same question the first time I tried the raw colors. I was like, I have to be doing something wrong. It shouldn't be this easy.
Like I'm gonna wipe it off, and there's gonna be no pigment in the skin whatsoever.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you wipe it off, and it's just solid.
Super solid.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the gray wash is also a wonder.
So you, I showed it off a little bit earlier, but I was working on my friend Devin's leg yesterday, and we worked on it all day. Got all the lines hammered out, got all the black and gray shading hammered out. We went through and did the first pass of like our base tones, and they're obviously coming back in, you know, for color and all that stuff. But I'll show that to you real quick. Let me know what you think.
Beautiful, dude.
Darks to some of the petals and the roses, it really jump out at you. Like,
Well, that's where I was going to go back through and start using darker like color tones, because the roses are going to be in all color. The leaves are all going to be in color.
yeah.
And we're even going to do color accents on those heart watches themselves.
Nice. Okay, so that's why you
So-
left it open like that. I got you.
Exactly. I just
All
wanted to
right.
kind of block in some tonal values. That way, when it comes time for me to go to start coloring, I don't, here's where this shadow goes. Here's where this shadow goes. Here, I'm going to leave this open for highlight, you know, so it's going to make the whole process just a little bit faster for me,
Right.
you know, just by blocking in those tones initially. But yeah, we've got, I think, 2 more sessions left, 1 or 2 more sessions left.
Nice.
Awesome work, man.
Yeah, very nice, dude.
Hey, Jason, one question. As far
Answer.
as like speed, right? Like, what would you say is your I guess strategy, you know, that to be so quick, man.
I think what a lot of it ends up coming down to is I just try to be efficient, right? If I'm going to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to focus on all of my drop shadows. And I know I want my drop shadows to be, or all of my cast shadows. I want all of my cast shadows to be one value, and I want that value to be this. Cool. I'm going to go through and I'm going to lay that down. Maybe I'll fan it out a little bit, but it's okay. This kind of a look. I want to use this color or this tone. So it's going to be like this. Boom. And I do it. You know, it's more efficient, more decisive. And I think that's what's really, really made a difference in just the level of efficiency that I'm trying to work at, is just making those decisions, making those kinds of commitments, and then
Right.
just doing it, just lay it in there.
Just do it.
You know, I'm taking a very kind of different approach to it ever since I got to sit down and talk with Rich Wren a little bit. You know, and that's something like watching Rich knock out a pretty substantial piece in a very short period of time, you know, or even looking at other guys like James Tex, for example, right? This dude is incredibly, and I don't want to say fast. It's not that he's fast. It's that he's and less time using things. Focus on, okay, let's just do it. I think a part of it also has to do with knowing your machines,
True.
you know, and knowing how to use them to achieve specific effects the first time. Like with all of the gray wash in that piece that I just did, I didn't go over any one of those areas more than once.
Uh-huh.
But that's also because I knew I was just blocking in undertones. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I also like to work on like total fields of saturation, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if I'm doing black and gray, I'm going to want a very, very, very smooth fade or transition. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed my machine up quite a bit more, work barely right off the tips of those pins and just kind of brush it out.
Okay.
And then that way to minimal saturation very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time building up values because once again, you know, I'm going to try to treat it like an underpainting. So I'm just going to block it in and get it done. But it's something that I found kind of helps with efficiency when doing black and gray. So it's that's just kind of what I do. And I kind of do things a little bit backwards, in my opinion. I'll run when I'm outlining, I'll run it a bit slower. But when I'm doing black and gray, I'm gonna speed some things up and just really focus on getting in there the first time at the value that you want it to be and call it a day and move on to the next part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're just like kind of mapping things out.
That's
Then
a
I'd
good
go
point.
back through and I'd drop it all the way down to like 6 volts.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
I've been
I'd start
running
to
it
really
low, too.
blend and
You
build.
can have that finesse.
Yep.
Man, I love that. I've been doing that a lot lately too, like all the way down, dude. Like
Yep.
where it's barely even running and just using those mags.
Get that
and those-
stippling effect.
Yeah, you can definitely do the stippling effect that way, but that's a different movement with the hand, you know what I mean? For sure. But I think if you're using mags and round shaders and such, tight liners, you know, it's definitely good to have it that slower, kind of controlled movement or speed and power. Because you can definitely get a lot of doesn't damage the skin very much at all.
Right.
But then again, I've seen some people fly through tattoos, and they're some of the most detailed things I've ever seen. You know what I mean? So that's pretty wild. But yeah, I definitely like that low, slow kind of thing when you're like going back in and scumbling through the detail and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and then when you need to, you know, you bump it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. That was the thing with this portrait today. Is on his chest. More towards
Really
the back
do that. So it's almost like you go back through and you do almost like a push and pull session.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
you start
okay.
out and you're really driving for those really darks and those very brights,
Yeah.
which sometimes you can't really get unless you do a second pass.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really fortunate whenever you get to, the clientele that live around you to be able to do that with, like whenever you're traveling and stuff like that, you might have to approach it just a little bit differently unless you plan ahead and you say that this is going to be like, this is how I work. This is a 2-part process kind of deal.
Yep. And it's healthy to let the client know from the start, that maybe once we're all done, we'll have one more session. And they were saying that every tattoo can always use a second session, but in color, I think that even more, right?
Mm-hmm. Especially if a client comes in and they see some stuff of yours that you've done, and you can sit down and talk to them.
Because if you don't effectively communicate with your clients about what are their expectations, what are your expectations, what are the financial commitments, what are the time commitments that are going to be involved, if you don't effectively communicate that, you might be doomed to fail, because then they don't know what they're getting into. You know what you're getting into and what your expectations are, but if you're not making that clearly stated in the beginning, then you guys are going to be on 2 completely separate pages.
Right.
So
communication is important in every kind of relationship.
absolutely. Could not agree anymore.
Yep.
Unless, of course, you're talking about like, well, no, I would agree. Although my cat isn't exactly very effective at communication.
Your headphones the other day.
Yeah, did you? Yes, I did the other day. Yep,
Yeah.
I got them.
How do I change my here we go. Now I can go the other way. Voila. So this is one of the patios that we could all hang out at outside. There's my
Oh,
awesome
yeah.
car. Yeah, been hindered. This is a spot here. We'll be setting up. That's the Crane Lodge. Sorry, I'm just giving everyone a quick tour. Well, I'm also checking how this is working.
Nice.
This is just kind of streaming okay.
For the most part, I mean, a little bit glitchy here and there, but for the most part, it's not bad.
This is on the cellular, so this is not on any Wi-Fi. We'll put the stage kind of down there at the end,
Okay.
and we'll set up some of the art spaces down kind of near this end here. There's a makeshift, or not a makeshift bar, there's a real bar there. I don't know, we'll have that staffed some hours. Then there's also this corner here for art creation. And but yeah. So how's everybody doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Pretty good.
You all made it back from Philly?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
And we're counting down the days, man, for BYOB.
It is. You have you gonna be tattooing for a while?
Yeah.
Cool. But this seems to be working for you to be able to zoom in and tattoo.
Yeah, man. It's fun.
Awesome. And your client doesn't seem to mind too much.
Yeah, Angel isn't camera shy. So.
What's up, dude?
Nice.
How you
How
doing?
goes? Awesome. Sweet. Well, I'm gonna hop out. I'll check the recordings, and like I said, I might hop in on the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna set up the super camera and straighten myself up. But if anybody is around, then shoot me a text, and then I'll shoot you over the Zoom link.
Radical.
Cool. Sounds great.
Awesome.
Cool,
Cheers.
Gabe.
Paradise BYOB, everybody.
Cheers, Gabe.
See you, buddy.
Looking forward to that,
Okay.
man.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna
Gonna
be
be a
so
good time.
nice.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, Faith, you'll be there, right?
You where?
The Paradise BYOB.
Oh no, I don't think I'm going to that.
Oh, so you can take some stuff home?
Good.
I never said I wouldn't be giving away some goodies.
Oh, shit. That's
I'm gonna
very
be doing
nice.
an episode of Hablemos de Arte from there. So, while we're jamming, paint jamming, I can do a little interview to the horseman,
Dude,
translate it into Spanish.
that would be awesome. All of us together for the first time.
Hell
Well,
yeah, man.
minus Larry, but
Yeah.
we'll get Larry out from Arizona eventually.
Yep.
Yeah, once he settles down,
Ricardo, that is amazing, dude.
Oh, thanks. that pampa.
You like the boss man. Damn.
Pimpin' since pimpin' since pimpin'.
Yep, been pimping. And so I'm starting to sculpt in that other crow. For a long time, it was just a general shape, so I can kind of get the placement for it. I'm gonna start going in and erasing some of the highlights, but I want this one to be more subdued, except for this area here, so it'll be softer. And I'll create that toner right on the like back corner and stuff like that, and then bring it down here just a little bit more, because I really want this area right here to like be really strong contrast. Back here, yeah. So I'm gonna go. So I'll go in with some like just a little bit past mid-tone towards the darker range, and kind of shape in a little bit more detail. Like there's gonna be a couple little dudes in here, and then start going in and getting some highlights on these little pearls that'll be inlaid on this guy, and some of the gold kind of stuff here. A little bit on the where the crown curves back around the cranium. Just a little bit of detail, kind of like this, but real subtle, real light like that. But yeah, I think if with a little bit of a darker range here, that'll help out a lot.
Yeah.
Chance to check out his drawings, man. They're amazing, and he's a really good charcoal. He's really good with charcoals and realism, life studies, like anatomy, life studies, and he was doing that pencil technique, and it seems to bring the eye a little bit more into the focal points. Makes those
Right.
light.
Kind of like doing like the fat lines on like a biomed piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I got some critiques the other day. I think we all did, and like I've been trying to apply it to almost everything that I've been doing, and it seems to be doing exactly what it was that was suggested. So I'm gonna keep running with it.
Yeah, it's definitely coming together, man.
Do on the back end tonight will be a long night, but yeah, it'll be good. And then I'm looking forward to jumping in those anatomy drawing classes with the Australians tonight. What time does that start? 9 p.m.
10 p.m.
Eastern.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be 9 my time.
Yeah, that sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna be around, man, but it'd be cool to jump in. I know Guy was talking about how he'd like more people to jump in there. I
Yeah.
definitely want to. I really like your stuff. Okay, Faith, that looks cool.
Thanks.
Oh hell yeah.
That's looking great, dude. Look at that. I like that lighter olive that you're putting behind it, man. That's pretty radical.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's just cool enough to really bring those worms out.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice. I like it's not like real bright red. It's like that maroonish muted kind of tone and small amounts of pink, it looks like. Are you gonna introduce any like I don't know what the right color would be, like a tang kind of color to it at all? Like
yellow.
No, you got it, dude. That's
I like it.
yeah, you're nailing it. I think that looks great. I think if you just introduce small amounts of like that high intensity color, it would really sell that whole thing.
What about?
Okay.
And if you're questioning it, you could always take a picture with your iPad and kind of play around with it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I always just, is it acrylic or oils?
It's acrylic.
Yeah. So the cool part with acrylics is that it dries pretty fast, and I can always just lay some paint down. If I don't like it, I wipe it off right away. As long as everything else underneath it is dry.
That's true.
So have no fear. Just jump in there.
Yeah, I just end up painting stuff more than once if I don't like it.
We're doing some sign-offs. Faith, we'll start with you. You were the first one to join, so.
Yeah, you can find me at www.winncolor.com, WYNN color.com. It's the same Instagram, and the whole site's kind of down right now, but it's gonna go back up in the next week or so.
Cool. Awesome. Bruno, I think you were next.
Yeah. And you guys can reach me on Instagram on Prismus_art. And it's always fun to join you here, Jason. Thanks for hosting, man.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Gonna keep
Thank you for jumping
keep working on this fun piece.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't know if you can
Oh yeah, look at that color.
But yeah, we're trying to.
Which movie is that?
So clean.
This is a good one. What was it called?
Nazca Valley of the Wind.
Yeah, by the same.
Ghibli.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, man. Gotta keep having fun with this piece.
Awesome, dude.
It was fun hanging out with you guys.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Talk to you later.
And Ricardo, let me go through and I'll spotlight you.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ricardo Sertivant. I host Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern classes or join groups, whatever. If you guys want to join, that'd be awesome. It's always fun to get some feedback and some conversations going. Jason, it's always a pleasure, man. I'm glad I got to join in. Sorry it took me so long to jump in the class, but I'm glad I'm here. And
Yeah, no worries.
so I look forward to it. And if I can meet you guys in person, that'd be even better. So y'all take it easy.
You too, man. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll go through and spotlight myself. So, hey, everyone. My name is Jason Leeser. You can find me on Instagram at Philly Inc. I'm here with my cat, Stella, who's right behind me over here. She's usually pretty camera shy, but she decided to join in today as well. Stella, we still need to work on our communication skills. I'll take that as a no. Okay. But yeah, you can find me here every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time for the Sunday afternoon drawing group here at the Reinventing the Tattoo Community. Like to give a very big thank thanks a lot for watching. And if you guys like this video, if you like the live stream, go through, do us a favor and like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get a few more subscribers so we can start going live on mobile so that we can start bringing you guys some more exciting content. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe. So thanks a lot, and I'll catch you guys next Sunday. And I'm not sure who's still on or not, but the only one still on. Cool. Have a good one, guys.